Hello, Earth Signs. Welcome to your daily focus tarot for Wednesday. So, two cards initially came out in reverse, Three of Cups and the Magician. So, the Three of Cups in the upright, this is a card of usually celebration, community, and collaboration. In the reverse, it can be about having alone time, which is not always a bad thing. It can be about stifled creativity, feeling disconnected, overindulgence. I'm going to say this is about alone time for you. And you should be using that alone time. And what you should be using it for, we have Princess of Swords, right? And this came out sideways, not in the upright, not in the reverse. So in the reverse, it talks about somebody who's all talk, no action, who can be detached from the real world, like somebody who's daydreaming or an escapist. In the upright, it sometimes talks about somebody who's aloof, like they're not the most social person because they're focused on gaining knowledge. This card is all about knowledge seeking, and it tends to be, because she's wearing blues and purples, it tends to be knowledge of the higher realms, like spiritual knowledge, because of the other cards that are around it too. This is about you seeking spiritual knowledge. And if you can see the sword, I don't know if you can see it at all, but she's got a green scarf wrapped around it, wrapped around the cutting edge of the blade, right? On both sides. So green is the color of healing. The blue and the purple are the spiritual colors, the colors of the higher chakras, if you're into chakras. But even if you're not, they're colors of higher understanding, higher self, deities, in olden times royalty. So this is all about, with it coming in sideways, you haven't fully gained. You're needing that alone time. You're needing that time away from having to deal with other people and deal with situations and collaborate with them, so that you can get this clarity, so that you can get this knowledge that's going to help you heal. You really need that alone time. And you'll notice there's a bird there. So there's a messenger, right? There's that sparrow bringing in messages. You need this alone time. Don't fight it, okay? Research whatever it is that you need to research. Be objective about it. This card also sometimes talks about replaying conversations. Sometimes it's talking about a stalker, but to me, I'm getting that this is about you needing alone time. I saw 3:33. Dang it, they keep telling me to look at the time sometimes. So this is all about you needing to, and I'm not totally up on numbers, so you should look up that 3:33. This is about you needing this alone time so that you can find the information that you need in order to heal. Now, the other card that came out in the reverse initially was the Magician, and I'll show it to you in the upright. So that's what the Magician looks like, and that's what the Hermit looks like, right? And the odd thing about the Magician, he's holding his wand there, she's holding her sword there, but if you look, it's almost like a sword pointing down, and they're holding the cups up. This one in particular is holding his cup going in the same direction the Magician is when it's upright. So the Magician in the upright, it's talking about having everything you need to open up new doorways, having the knowledge, having the balance, having the skill to manifest things. So in the reverse is the opposite. It's talking about being blocked. Your flow is blocked. You don't have ambition. You're somebody around you, or you might be abusing power. You have a lack of will. You just, you're confused about what you're trying to do and what you're supposed to do, and you're not doing that. So it's the opposite. Can be a lack of planning. Like I said, somebody could be abusing their power around you. So they're manipulating you, and they're doing it because they don't want you to reach your potential. They don't want you to have this knowledge to heal yourself. So the clarifier for the magician is the hermit. And the hermit is all about going within. It's about finding your own path and being true to yourself. And you're going within, and you're using, this one is not as obvious. I don't like this hermit quite as much as I do in the ethereal visions, because in the ethereal visions it's obvious that the light coming from the hermit's lantern that's guiding him on his path, it's obvious that the light is the star, and it's the star of his own life, so it's his soul, right? He's guiding himself, and he's done this by going within, finding what's right, what's true for him. And he's being loyal to himself with that dog by his side. You'll notice he's kind of surveying. He's high up on the mountain. There is a path there, but he's looking down into the valley. He's looking at that river. He sees that river that has like the lightning, the S, the zigzag to it. And he's like, do I want to go down there? Or do I want to stay up here high on the mountain where there's maybe more of a view and there's more security because you can see for miles around? But the valley has the water. The valley has that flowing of emotion, that flowing of spirit, so flowing of life. And the new day is starting to dawn. Even though you can still see the moon, the new day is dawning, right? So sometimes this is talking about being cautionary, but mainly it's talking about finding your own path and being true to yourself, being loyal to yourself on this path. And with the magician in the reverse, it's very important that you do go within, that you figure out, using this Princess of Swords, that you figure out what it is you need to know and understand in order to heal yourself. This is really important. Now at the bottom of the Druidcraft we have Six of Pentacles, which is a balance in giving and receiving, which means, what's hidden from you is that you can have this balance, that you can have this ability to not have people take from you all the time. King of Swords, which is thinking through observation, it's clarity on a subject. And then Three of Swords and Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is, it's satisfaction with what you've achieved emotionally and spiritually. So I want to talk a little bit about, so this giving and receiving and thinking about where it's unbalanced with the King of Swords, and then having this Three of Swords underneath. Now other decks, and this Three of Swords came up at the bottom of the Ethereal Visions. This Three of Swords is more like what other decks look like. You'll notice it's got the keyhole. So the key goes in, the key to the heart, right? But the heart has already been stabbed by these 3 swords going in through it, and it's been put on display. Some people can see through the keyhole and see the heart that's been put on display. Other people can't, right? It's a secret. So some people can see your broken heart and others can't. And the interpretation most people have of this is that it's a betrayal. And that kind of fits for the ethereal visions, right? And underneath it, there's 9 of Pentacles, which is satisfaction. So we have 9 of Pentacles underneath 3 of Swords and ethereal visions, and 9 of Cups underneath it in the Druidcraft. And then ethereal visions, Sun is underneath the 9 of Pentacles. So creativity, growth. But back to this 3 of Swords. This 3 of Swords, like I said, it can be betrayal, it can be heartbreak. When you look at it in the Druidcraft, it's very different to the ethereal visions one. But they're both in what's hidden from you, what's in your unconscious at the bottom of the deck. So it could be that part of you doesn't want to admit but knows that you're expecting this betrayal. You're expecting this heartbreak. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. But this 3 of Swords is quite different. And I like this 3 of Swords a lot in the Druidcraft, because here you have the Tree of Knowledge, the Tree of Life, the beginning tree, right? Where it all started. You have the heart, which is made of stone. So it's made of earth. It's immovable. I'm not saying that you have a heart of stone in the traditional sense. What this card is saying to me is that your heart is pure because it's stone. It can't be corrupted. There's all this stuff, in Druid and Wicca circles about Arthur and the sword and the stone. And only the right person, only the proper ruler of Britain can pull the sword out of the stone, right? Here we have 3 swords, all with unique hilts, and they're resting against the Tree of Knowledge. They're not in the heart at all. They're not in the stone at all. That means that you are the ruler of your heart. Your heart, even though it is a stone, it is pure. It cannot be corrupted, right? It can be betrayed. It can be put on display that your heart is broken, but it can't be corrupted. And these swords are pointing up at the tree. They're pointing at the 3 dots, which is more of a Druid thing. And I'm not going to talk about it, but you can look it up. You can look up the symbolism from the creator of the deck and everything. But I want to talk about how the swords, they're not hurting the heart, they're not hurting the tree, they're just there leaning against it. So to me, yeah, this is about, in this one, it's definitely about being stabbed in the heart. It's about betrayal. It's about hurt. And the key to figuring something out is about going through the hurt, right? It's looking through that keyhole. It's looking into what happened with that pain. And then coming out the other side by being objective. And that's a lot of what this 3 of Swords is about. This 3 of Swords is looking at it from a different perspective and looking at it like, how did this like it may have hurt your life when it first happened, but then if you look back on it with this Nine of Cups, that's like almost a completion, it's almost satisfaction. You're looking back with the Six of Pentacles and the King of Swords, and then having the Nine of Cups after this Three of Swords, you're like, yeah, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. You know, when you're trying to get this healing from the Princess of Swords, and you're looking back and you're going, okay, I was really upset by this heartbreak. I was really hurt by that at the time that it happened, but now I'm actually grateful for it because it wouldn't have been a good thing if this relationship, or, you know, with the Three of Cups, this collaboration at work or whatever it was that you're trying to heal from, it wouldn't have been a good thing if it happened. So then you're like, okay, I'm actually grateful for this. You've reframed it into something that's helpful, that helps you move on and helps you get satisfaction with this being between the King of Swords and the Nine of Cups. And that, you know, to me, that is a lot of what the Hermit and the Magician are talking about. I drew a card from the Unicorn deck. It says, worth waiting for. Your patience will be rewarded. And I don't remember if you got this yesterday or if it was somebody else. Somebody got this yesterday. So this is, you know, quite obviously it is what it says it is. And when you're going over stuff that's happened in your life and you have a heartbreak, you have this kind of instance, even though you want this and this right away and this, it's not good to rush into things, okay? It's good to have a little breather room. It's good to think about it. It's good to figure out what went wrong so that you don't do it again, because then you're going to learn your lesson again. At the bottom of the Unicorn deck, what's hidden from you? We have exercise. Happy thoughts. You know, practice happy thoughts. Not to the point where you have, toxic positivity, but to the point where you're more focused on the joy in your life. You're getting up, you're moving around. You know, this is to exercise, to dance, to sing, to play sports, to do stuff that makes you happy. So the happy thoughts, they're not toxic, but they're also not letting the negative thoughts get in the way of you moving on and living your life and growing. And then we have love from your parents, grandparent, try something new. So lots to consider for today. Focus on those healing thoughts. Focus on finding your own path internally. Bind all of the negative cutting thoughts. So that you can heal. Just work on your own path and being true to yourself. And, you know, get up and do a little exercise. Okay? Have a great Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow.